Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to do a start to finish on a whitetail European mount. I know a lot of people don't know really how to do it or the process of it whenever it comes hunting season and they try to do it themselves. But I'm going to show you my method of how to do it. Not to say it's the only method, because there's multiple ways that you can do a skull mount. But we're going to get started right now on a deer. I get these little cheap knives from Walmart. They're probably $3 or $4, but easy to sharpen. They do the trick. Scalpel blades, you can get them from Amazon. Literally surgical blades. And the next thing you need is a deer head to do. Just need them up here. I always start right here. Mainly right behind the antler where the ear is. Slice through it. Mainly make the first cut. And make sure you're cleaning it somewhere you don't plan on staying free of blood, because it's gonna happen. Next thing I always do is go right in the jaw, cut it up where it meets the earbud I just cut. You want to go ahead and do this so whenever you open the jaw up, it's easier to pop the bottom jaw off. And then work your way back to the skull plate. Out of the way there. This part right here, you want to go right, fill where the back of the skull plate is right there, and then do a straight cut down. And see it pop the spinal cord to where it goes into the brain cavity. Every little part you can. Mainly if you've seen the back of a deer head before, you know how the bone structure is. Alright, we're going to try to see if we can't pop this jaw. It's a little frozen too, so it might be a little harder. Open the inside up. You can see right there where you got a break from the back of the skull. Last cut. the more you do, the easier it's going to be to know where to cut, where not to cut. Also, the cool thing is you can always look at the jawbone and see how old the deer is by the jawbone. So now this part, if you're new to doing it, then take your time doing it, because this part right here, if you rush through it, nick the top of the skull, then it's going to show that you marked it up or cut through it, or, you know, especially around the eyes, it's easy to nick it, and it will show up whenever you get the skull not done. I try to get as much meat off as I can. The process I do is maceration. So the more meat you cut off, the less time it's going to take to actually do the maceration process itself and break down the flesh. We are going to speed the process up here and get everything cleaned out, and then we'll go to the next step. These are bots. It's crazy what deer can live with in their nasal cavity. Now that the hide's off, this deer is ready to go to the next step. You don't have to, but I always get the brain matter, go ahead and get it out of the brain cavity. It's just less you gotta deal with once it, you know, stays in there through the maceration process. But we're gonna go outside and get the brains out and go from there. I was going to show y'all right quick. This is a homemade little gadget that my uncle made me back when we started messing around with skull mounts. It's just on a water hose nozzle. Piece of copper tube he made just to stick in the back of the brain cavity, and just go ahead and blow all them brains out. But we're going to go ahead and get that done. I know y'all don't want to watch that. So, yep. Alright, we're on to the next step, and then put the deer in the maceration tank. Maceration tank that I use is just an old deep freezer that doesn't work, obviously. I have a, let's see, 120 volt, 125 watt bulb in it. Some people use heat lamp bulbs as well, but this one does the trick. I just have it sitting inside of it though, just to keep it around 110 degrees or so. Put some buckets of water in there that you don't want to keep, and fill them up with water. And you want the water just to go right above the skull. And these two right here have been, that was a dead head, so it's got some good little floaties going on in it. Your deer head in the water. Like I said, you just really want it to be covering enough to where it's covering the top of that skull. Add just a little bit more water to this one, barely. Just the top where it's covering that underneath the antler burr as well. So depending on the weather outside, the temp wise, usually if it's, you know, 50s to 70s down here, turn the heat lamp on inside and let it sit for probably 3 to 4 days to check on it. And that's about how long it takes for all the meat to start just falling off the skull itself. If you do the maceration route, I suggest you put the maceration tank you use far away from your house. This is in the shop, so the smell isn't, you know, hitting you in the face when the wind's wrong every time. And if you have a weak stomach, then I suggest you not do the maceration route. Because whenever this sits in here and gets good and hot, and you open it up, it's gonna hit you in the face, and it's not a pleasant smell at all. But we're gonna get this tank rolling, get these 2 heads going, and leave it in there for about 3 days, and then we'll see the progress on it. Hey y'all, so we are back, and it's been 4 days later, and we're about to pull them out of this maceration tank. Stinky part. Should be to where it's just falling off though. Just falling off. We'll get it out and clean it off with a water hose. That's all it's going to take. And I will show y'all the degreasing step. Alright y'all, so this next step, get your pot of water going, let it come to a boil. Got your head that just come out of maceration. Spread it off the water hose. Get most of the meat off. We're gonna add some of this awesome orange. I got it at Dollar Tree. Usually I add about a half to the water. I'm just gonna get this to come to a simmer. This right here, this is mixed OxyClean and borax. So half OxyClean and half borax. Just an even mix is what I mix up for this tub right here. Next thing we're gonna do, Dawn, take some, put it right in the back of skull cavity. Always put a little bit too right here. And you're gonna take about just a little bit of a scoop of the half borax and half OxyClean. Put a little bit right there in the back of it, as you can see. You're gonna get it, and you're gonna put it. Make sure it's all covered when you put it in here. And it finally comes to a bowl. You're gonna lower the gas down and let it simmer. Set your timer for 30 minutes. Let it simmer, just like that. All right, 30 minutes is up. It's been simmering, so now we're going to add about a half of clear ammonia, Dollar Tree as well. And that usually kills the simmer to it, so just let that soak for another 30 minutes, and we'll get them out. But we're going to give him a wash off with a water hose. Wash around those bases right there. And then we are going to put them in the water. I'm also going to pop those earbuds out right there with a screwdriver. Pop them out. All you got to do. I'm going to show y'all real quick. Take something you can get down right there in the earbud. Pop it out. All you gotta do. Usually pops right off. Just like that. You get that. Now, I mean, some people go ahead and push that in right there. You can leave it if you want. It's totally up to you. I usually go ahead and push through it, pop them out, and that's it. So I usually get me a little brush, and when I'm washing it off, after getting it out of that degreaser, take a brush, wash around the bases of that antler, just to get the scum line off of it. Get some Dawn on there and just scrub it, and give it a good rinsing. Lost a tooth while ago, so I got it in my pocket. The next step is going to be the whitening step. So I go to my local pool supply store, and it's mainly a shock oxidizer. It's 27% hydrogen peroxide. You can read right there. But how I do it is I mix 1 gallon of this to 3 gallons of water. Do a mixture in a 5-gallon bucket, and then I dip it out in these little clear containers. That's where I put the deer head in. You can see how clean that bone looks right there already. Pretty clean. I'll go ahead and put it in. And I also will just cut up a piece of bath cloth. Kind of cut it out to where it'll go around the bottom of the antler wise. And also some little strips to go around the base before I put the other bigger piece on. You just never want to get this whitener on the antler because it would definitely turn it white. I mean, if you ever do, you can always touch it up with some stain or, you know, something like that. I'm not saying it won't ever happen because it's happened to me before. But I just wrap the base right there, put a little cutout, lay it on top, mainly where everything's good and covered. A little turkey baster. Really get it good and soaked. Just be careful when you're right there around them, like I said, around them bases where you don't get any of this whitener on top of it. Go ahead and get everything good and soaked in with some whitener and let it soak it up. So I'll usually touch it up, make sure that cloth is soaked about a few times a day, and let this soak for 2 days before taking it out, washing it off, and letting it sit in the sun. Alright, we're just going to give them a quick little rinse off with some water. And put them in the sunlight to dry. Hey y'all, we're back for the last step. I'm going to be doing a little touch up with some super glue. I use the Loctite liquid. And it's totally normal for, like I said earlier, some teeth to fall out. We got 2 to glue back in. But you can also see how those teeth are loose right there. So I'll go ahead and put some glue in them, tighten them up. I'll also go ahead and put some glue on the nose pieces so they're all good and tight in between the nose right there. So it just all becomes loose during the process. No biggie that you can't fix. Right there, you can tell a little loose. I'm just going to add some drops in between the back side of that. Something I always do to put a sealant on it is just some mopping glue. Just a little bit. I already got it poured into a mason jar. But you don't have to put a lot, just a little bit goes a long way. You don't have to do that either. It just gives it a little seal. And once you let it dry, it looks good. All right, y'all, there you have it. As you can see right there, everything is intact. You got some clean bone. And a pretty mount. And on a closing note, if and when y'all go to dump the maceration bucket that you had the head in, make sure you dump it away from animals or anything like that so they don't get into it and eat it. It's got a lot of bacteria in it, obviously. So dump it far away from the house. But I hope y'all enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And we'll catch y'all on the next one.